Hey everybody, Ben here from the Bonehead podcast, and welcome to Blood Bowl 7's Ogres. So we're looking at Blood Bowl 7's rosters for all the teams available in Blood Bowl 2020, whether it's in the core rulebook, the Games Workshop Teams of Legend PDF, or the NAF expanded team, so Slann and Khorne. And we're looking at some of the top rosters for the quick play format of Blood Bowl 7. So Blood Bowl 7's is a quick game of Blood Bowl, about 45 minutes on a smaller pitch, smaller teams, and a smaller player selection. So 45 minutes for a game is a pretty fun way to play Blood Bowl. If you want to know more about Sevens, check out our Intro to Sevens video, or our 2 seasons we've got of Sevens Super Series, which is just us playing actual series and an actual season of Blood Bowl 7s. It's the 2016 rule set, so obviously there are some slight differences, but you will definitely get the buzz of Sevens from watching those videos. So today we are going to have a look at Ogres, which is definitely one of my favourite stunty teams. I mean, come on, with the Bonehead podcast, we love Ogres. And I'm quite partial to a big guy blitz, so this roster is going to be full of that. So the strengths of the Ogre roster: it's the Ogres. So these guys have the Ogre Punter and the Ogre blocker. So the Punter is basically an Ogre with passing 4+. It doesn't get to throw teammate, but it gets to kick them instead, which works exactly the way throw teammate does, except strong arm doesn't work, and if you fumble it, you basically explode the Noblar. But the key thing here is that kick teammate does not take your pass action for the game, for the turn. So you can throw a teammate and kick a teammate in one turn. The other cool thing about the Punter is that randomly it gets passing skills on a general. So you can actually sneak a leader reroll onto your Ogre team with the Punter. The other strength here is the Noblars, and that sounds ridiculous, but these little guys are fantastic. And in Sevens, there is no line of death. There is no line of slaughter for these guys. Their strength 1, their armor 6+, and they tend to die real quick. However, their movement 5, their stunty titchy dodge, which means they're 2+ with a reroll to dodge almost anywhere ever. So agility 3+ means they're going to get the ball fine. They are cheap enough because they're 15k for you to throw and kick them around without worrying too much about it. And actually, there's going to be some times where these little guys use sidestep and they just don't go down because they've got dodge, even though your opponent is throwing 5 die blocks at them. And they're going to be able to just 2++ into the end zone when they are 7 squares out most of the time. It is filthy and it is stressful. The downside is that they are Noblars and they will pop if you so much as breathe on them. If you can catch them, they will die. 140k rerolls also penalises this team because Ogres are also 140k, so you basically end up with a choice of, do I take an Ogre or do I take a reroll? Most of the time you're going to take the Ogre because the Ogres are the thing what murders. Happy times. And also no skills anywhere ever. You got Mighty Blow, you got dodge on the little guys, that is pretty useful, but we're talking no block, no sure hands. You're going to be hard rolling almost everything. So we're going to start off with the roster that in 2016 won at least one of our Sevens tournament nights. We used to run a cheeky once a month 3-game Sevens night, and Ogres topped it one time, which was pretty sweet. The roster is slightly different, but basically the same thing. 1 Ogre Punter, 2 Ogre blockers, so that's 3 Ogres now. Now Ogres are essentially the most reliable of the big guys. Sure, Mummies and Tomb Guardians don't ever fail a Negatrait, but they don't have the punch, the agility, or the movement of Ogres. So realistically, Ogres have got the best kind of upsides versus their Negatrait. They're the best value big guy, essentially. 4 Noblars means you only got 7 players on this team, but you do have Riotous Rookies. Now, Riotous Rookies gives you an extra 2d3+1 dudes. Okay, so because of the cost here, you've maxed out the roster. For 100k, you can just hard buy 6 Noblars. However, you've already got 7 players, so you can only afford 4. So while it is better value to just buy Noblars straight up than it is taking Riotous Rookies here allows you to go over 11 players. And when you're going to be Ogre punting them and Ogre throwing them, they're gonna die, okay? So this roster, you get 3 ogres, and you get a bunch of Gnoblars, and you should be throwing and punting those Gnoblars at your opponent whenever they cage up. And also, you guys know I'm a big fan of the throw teammate paratrooper go. When you've got a million Gnoblars, it's not a bad shout either. The downside is, because there's no swarming on this roster, those ogres are going to die real quick. And when you've got 3 big guys and 4 little guys, you're going to have to be careful with your throws and kicks. It's real tempting to just kick and throw them all of the time, but eventually you're going to run out of stuff to do. And then you're just left with 3 ogres. Think about that for a second. You're left with 3 ogres. This is awesome. This is really, really awesome. You've got to play well. You can lean on the outrageous dodge potential of the Gnoblars. And, quite frankly, the strength and mighty blow of these ogres is going to get you 1 or 2 removals a game as well. And because you've got riotous rookies, you can go for a cheeky foul with a Gnoblar almost any time, because you're going to have reserves. And also, if you end up with block on your ogres, guard on your ogres, it helps with fouling. And we said this at the top of the video that you can actually buy a reroll for an ogre. So we've got the OP reroll rookies build. This one comes in at 600. Yes, it does. So you've got 1 punter, 1 blocker, 5 Gnoblars, so 7 people on your team, 1 reroll and riotous rookie for an extra 3 to 7 Gnoblars. Okay, so you're running between 10 and 14 players on this 7s team. Happy times. The Ogre Punter does take Leader as a normal skill, and being tier 3, you're going to end up normally with 3 skills, 3 or 4 skills, and 1 at least is going to be a double. So on this roster, you can squeeze Leader onto the Punter and still probably get block on the other blocker. And where you've got the reserve, everything we just talked about is true. You end up with 1 extra Gnoblar on the pitch, which is a strength and a vulnerability at exactly the same time, but you do get that reroll, so 1 per turn if you need, once per game, if you really need that Ogre to pick up the ball. And let's face it, once an Ogre has the ball, it's a very good thing. You're going to have that reroll in hand. The cool thing about ogres is that they can be developed in you can develop them in a multitude of ways, and because they are your big guys, they are going to be blitzing. So the punter is looking great with a leader on. They're all looking great with block. If you want to use your singles, guard is going to be really useful for fouling. Underrated, but also making sure that your Gnoblars can get decent blocks. And break tackle is going to be really sweet because it's going to be a 2+ dodge somewhere with your ogre, and when these guys are movement 5 and you're on the 7s pitch, that is really, really good. If you can stack skills, guard, break tackle on a standard ogre in a standard team is a really good combo. On this one, you've got potential of jugs if you're going to be blitzing, but you're going to end up with doubles, and quite frankly, block on an ogre is a pretty good place to be. And it wouldn't be one of our 7s videos without looking at least one silly build now, would it? So this one is the all knobs 3 reroll build. This one comes in at 585, I believe, and is running 11 Gnoblars and 3 rerolls. That's it. So myself and Rich are both we've both run plenty of all Snotling teams, all Gnoblar teams as they are now, and they are remarkably good. Okay, it's ridiculous when you've got that many players. Yeah, your opponent's getting good blocks, but in 7s you don't have the line of slaughter, so most of the time when you're 2+ dodging away, they're only going to get 1 block a turn. That means your resilience is way up, and if they fluff that blitz, it's a sidestep. You actually get to move your guy exactly where you want them. You've got a ton of dudes so they can foul. Agility 3+ is great, and 2+ dodging anywhere is really, really great. And you've got rerolls here, so you can afford to swarm people and go for 2 die up blocks. This roster is going to way outperform your expectation. However, your expectation for this must be really low. If you're running 5 games with the 7s in a 7s tournament, you may win 1 with this roster. That's probably how I would rate it. But you are going to have fun, and your opponent is going to score some tournament points. And I do have another one for you. The Gnoblar Cooks comes in at 565, 11 Gnoblars, Master Chef, and Riotous Rookies. So this one gives you an extra 3 to 7 players. And instead of just 3 straight up rerolls, you Master Chef your opponent. So the likelihood of your opponent having rerolls in 7s is less. But let me tell you, if you can steal 120k's worth of their TV, it's really good times. So you're going to end up with 2 rerolls per half, which is going to be great for you. You're going to have a ton of Gnoblars, so you can, do your Gnoblar things. But you're taking away their rerolls. And if they have paid for rerolls, there's other stuff on their team they haven't paid for. If they're running a reroll, it means they're only running 7 players. And you've got enough guys here to maximize when they're on the ground. Focus on the fouling, focus on just taking out their players, and you will bleed them dry. And actually, this is going to perform okay sometimes. Probably isn't going to be as reliable as the last roster, but it's going to be more hardy because you got riotous rookies. But this is the roster I would go with every time. 1 punter, gonna get your leader if you want it. 2 ogres, gonna do some smashing and bashing. 4 Noblars, it sounds like not a lot, but then you got another 3 to 7 coming in here, so you're going to end up with 10 to 14 players on this team. It was all about the fact you've got 3 ogres, to be honest with you. But you've also got the opportunity to just hoon players down the pitch. This is going to be really fun. They're going to let you down, but it is going to be really entertaining. And, quite frankly, this won a mini tournament of 7s. They went... what did they win? It was either 3-0 or 2 and a draw, okay? In 7s. Because removal is huge. You can play against a Dark Elf team if you receive, or if they've got to come through you, right? And they have to move towards your team, and if they are going to have to engage your ogres, because having 3 ogres means there's not a lot of space on that pitch, right? That's a lot of high strength blocks. And because they're tier 3, they end up with more skills, so you do get even more opportunity to go and make those blocks block. Okay? I love this roster. I think it's great fun. I'd love to find a way to just kind of sneak riotous rookies in for even cheaper, because you can't get more than 3 ogres in a 600 TV roster. But I think if you sneak it up to 650, you might actually be able to. So if you're running a tournament like Sydney Bowl, where the TV is slightly different for tier 3 teams, when it goes up to 650, you can actually sneak in a 4th ogre. And then you're really cooking, and that's really interesting. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap up this video now. Let me know what you think of ogres in 7s. I know that they are good. They don't feel it, but they are solid. If you play them well, they're going to murder face, which is very exciting. And we'll be back again soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the show even further, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out. Or come and join us in our Patreon, link below, where you get early access to our content and monthly competitions. See you later.